Hey everybody, welcome back to Transsexual Sunday. I'm your host, Diana Salameh. I am a transsexual woman who transitioned 50 years ago. So here's my spiel. We're an adult channel with adult content. So you have to be 18 to be in here. And also, you people who like to come in here and attack me. We have the TERFs and we have the transgender people who call me a TERF. You're welcome to leave a comment as long as it's respectable. But I do not accept coming in trying to bash or belittle me, because this is my life. I didn't play a game. I didn't go out trying to scare the hell out of somebody. I just lived my life. I was very happy with my life. Everybody that knew me, my family, everybody loved and accepted me because they seen this was the best thing for me. So if you've got anything bad to say, you need to take it on out of here, because I've already put several people on block, which means they can still comment, but nobody can see their comments. Neither me or you will see their comments. So when you put something up and I tell you not to, you know, you will be blocked. So if you don't enjoy my content, that's perfectly all right. I probably would not enjoy your content. If you don't like me, chances are I wouldn't like you either. So I don't worry about people that I don't like. I don't care if you have respect for me at all, because I don't have respect for you if you feel that way. So you can just move on down and troll somewhere else. So if you've not already subscribed, now's the time to do so. And click the little notification bell so every time this crazy woman puts up something, you will get a notification. So for those of you who want to comment on the fact that I'm stupid, I do have Asperger's syndrome, and I am bipolar and heavily medicated. So I'm not as quick as other people. But the thing is, I think about everything someone says to me or writes to me. And once I realize what a motherfucker you are, I will have a fit. So don't mess with me. If you don't like me, just move on. That's not all that difficult. But today I wanted to talk about something that was dear to my heart. My grandma Beaver, my daddy's mother. She and I were very close. I spent a lot of time there at her house. Once I got old enough to take care of myself, because they didn't let anybody go that Grandma had to babysit. She had too much to do. So if you could go and just spend time with her, she'd let you tag along. She was a farming woman. She was born in 1892. So I knew that from the movies and stuff I'd seen, that people that were born back in those days, they lived in a totally different world than what we were living in the 60s. A totally different world. They'd gone from horse and buggies to the moon. So I was amazed by their way of life. And I'd say, Grandma, tell me about the old days. And old people love to tell about the old days. I know I do. But she would tell me about growing up. You tell me the one story when she was little. At Christmas time, she had asked that Santa bring her a bicycle, like her sister had gotten the year before. But her sister was older than her, so she was old enough for a bicycle. And when Santa brought the stuff, she didn't get a bicycle. She got a beautiful porcelain doll. Well, she was mad over that. She said, I would not play with that doll in front of anybody. So they put it up in the attic. And she said, I'd go up in that attic. I'd sneak up in that attic and play with that doll. She said, I didn't take it out of the box. I took the lid off of it. And I'd play with it and put it back. That shows you something. She was something. Oh, yeah. She told me a lot of stories about growing up. I loved to help her on the farm. She raised chickens and sold the eggs to a market. And I loved to go with her and help her gather her eggs. Now, she was from the era that she never wore a pair of pants. She always wore a dress and wore a gingham apron over it, one of those long bib aprons, and a big straw hat when she was outside. And she raised a lot of flowers for florists, like baby's breath and gladiolas and things. And I loved to go out there with her and help her gather those flowers to take to the florist. And a lot of crops that they raised were for the market. And I got to help her with those things. But the days when we were inside, she would teach me things like sewing. I remember she taught me how to do all the embroidery and cross-stitch stitches. She taught me how to crochet, not the big crochet like an Afghan, but the tiny crochet with a little bitty needle that you made doilies and things to put around in the house. And she also taught me how to tat. And then she taught me how to do a back stitch. Because in the old days when you didn't have a sewing machine, or if it was something that you didn't want to drag the sewing machine out, they would do a back stitch. It was you go up a stitch and come back a stitch, and up a stitch and come back a stitch, and it's as tight as a sewing machine. She taught me all those things. I just loved it. She would go through all the old family pictures and stuff, and she gave me a lot of those pictures. Nobody cared for him, so I did. Yeah. She died when I was 15, and I was beside myself. But she knew that I was different, that I was special. She knew I wanted to be a girl. She didn't promote it, but she didn't condemn it either. She had kept a lot of her clothes from, I'd say, the Edwardian era. And she let me put those clothes on and prance around. You know, I was just that sweet little child that people wanted to make happy. But when she was gone, it was just about more than I could take, you know. But I was close to my grandfather too. And after I had surgery and I had been away from the family for 2 years, away from that part of my family, my parents and stuff. I had been around them the whole time. But he was up in his 90s, and they thought he really didn't need to be subjected to that. But I went and lived with him after my grandmother passed, so he wouldn't have to live alone, and I cooked and cleaned and washed his clothes and all that. So he eventually said, "Where are they?" So they had another family meeting and said, "Well, he's asking, so I guess we need to tell him." So they told him, I guess thinking he would be appalled. He said, "Tell her I want to see her." So, of course, the next day I flew to see my grandpa, and I took my best friend, Donna, with me. As soon as he come out that back door, he was just like rushing into my arms. He hugged me so tight. He said, "Hello, gal. It's been a long time." I cried. My best friend cried. I'm getting chills right now remembering that day. At that time, it was the best thing that ever happened to me. And probably still is. To have someone that age to not only know who you really are, but accept it. And he did. He wanted me at every family get-together or reunion that we had. He wanted me right up in there. So, when it's right, it's right. You know, I never went out and scared people. I never went out and caused any trouble. Back then, we transitioned to be women, or men, whichever. We didn't transition to be transgender, anything. Those kind of people did things secret. It wasn't until they gave rights to the transsexual that they just come in and took it over. And now everybody has to deal with it. So, I don't know, y'all. Okay, I'm trying to make it short and sweet. I hope y'all have a good weekend. Yeah. Alrighty, y'all. Bye-bye, y'all. Have a good one.